Spooktober's here, and with every dusk, Eerie Instants unveils a new tale. 31 days, 31 stories. Hit subscribe and journey into the unknown with us. The crisp evening wind rustled against my jacket as I steadied my camera on the tripod. The red recording light blinked to life. "Hey everyone, it's Alex," I began, feigning enthusiasm though the weight of my decision pressed heavily on me. Today, we're at the one and only Whispering Pines Amusement Park. I paused for a beat, allowing the gravity of the name to sink in for my viewers. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows through the overgrown entrance gates. The wrought iron, intertwined with ivy and years of neglect, groaned a silent welcome. Whispering Pines had been the stuff of legends for years, and today I was about to debunk or confirm them, walking further in. The path beneath my feet was uneven, a mosaic of cracked tiles and nature reclaiming its territory. Each step was echoed by the distant chirping of the evening birds, a stark reminder of the silence within the park's boundaries. "Everyone's heard of it, but no one's been inside for years," I murmured to the camera, panning it around to capture the dilapidated rides and stalls. Suddenly, looming in the distance, it appeared, the Phantom Plunge. Even after all these years, it stood tall, its rails glistening faintly in the dimming light, a sentinel watching over its forgotten kingdom. Heading towards the roller coaster, my foot kicked something hidden in the overgrowth. Bending down, I retrieved a damp, faded park map. Unfolding it, my fingers traced over familiar rides, but stopped at a hastily scribbled note next to the Phantom Plunge. The word "truth" stood out, written in hurried, almost desperate handwriting. A chill ran down my spine. The legends, the stories, they all pointed to this roller coaster. "Guess we've got our next destination," I said to the camera, more to reassure myself than my viewers. The weight of the looming mystery was palpable now, an entity in itself. Tucking the map into my pocket, I continued walking, the story of Whispering Pines starting to unfold before me. But as the first whispers of the past reached out, beckoning me closer, I couldn't help but wonder if some truths were better left buried. The silence of Whispering Pines was punctuated by the soft crunch of gravel under my boots. Drawing closer to the looming skeleton of the Phantom Plunge, a shiver ran down my spine. I had to remind myself of the camera I held in my hand, the red recording light, a beacon, assuring me that my YouTube audience was with me, even if only in spirit. Spotting the ride's dilapidated control booth, I quickened my pace. The broken windows resembled hollow eyes, and the door hung crookedly on its hinges. Inside, amidst the old lever controls and faded buttons, I spotted something out of place, an old recording device. Its tape still inside. It looked ancient, and the play button seemed to beckon me. Without hesitation, I pressed it, holding my camera close to capture the sound. The voice that emerged was shaky, filled with distress. It was just a regular day, the sun shining and kids laughing. But then there was the accident. She was so young, so full of life. She's still here, you know, waiting. The recording crackled and ended abruptly, leaving me with a chill. Who was she? And what exactly had happened? The legends I'd heard felt too real now, too close for comfort. Feeling a growing connection to the mystery, I decided to ascend the coaster, hoping that the vantage point might offer more clues. As I started the climb, the rusted steps creaking underfoot, the world below became distant. The evening sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, but the beauty was overshadowed by an eerie sensation. Halfway up, I pause, hearing something that made my heart race, a faint, innocent laughter echoing in the distance. But I wasn't alone. Not truly. I shook off the fear, reminding myself that it was probably just the wind playing tricks. Gathering courage, I continued. The top of the roller coaster promised a panoramic view, but as I reached it, something else caught my eye. There, nestled between the metal tracks, was an old locket, its chain tangled and knotted. I picked it up, feeling its unexpected weight. The front was adorned with an intricate floral design, and it felt cool to the touch, out of place in the evening warmth. Opening it, I found a faded photo of a young girl, her smile radiant and full of joy. For a moment, everything made sense. The voice, the laughter, the legends. The young girl from the rumors, forever etched in time, still roamed these grounds. My mission was no longer just about exploration. It was about giving her peace. As I held the locket, a gust of wind ruffled my hair, and the soft laughter returned, this time right beside me. Taking a deep breath, I whispered a promise into the evening air. "I'll help you find your way home." The locket's weight seemed to grow heavier in my hand. With the girl's smiling face reflecting back at me, I felt an overwhelming urge to descend the roller coaster and leave. But just as I began to make my way down, a sudden force gripped me, pulling me towards the center of the track. Panicking, I fumbled for my camera, hoping to capture what was happening, but it was snatched from my grip, tossed aside like a toy. I heard it shatter below. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, filling the evening air with a cacophony of voices. But amongst them all, one voice stood out, the young girl's. "Why?" she whispered, her voice full of pain. "Why did you come here? You should have left the past buried." Tears filled my eyes as I realized the truth. The legends were real, but they were not just about her. They were a warning. A warning I'd ignored in my quest for views and fame. Suddenly, I was on the move, dragged by an unseen force towards the highest point of the phantom plunge. The view was dizzying, but what waited at the top was far worse. There, amidst the rusted metal and tangled vines, were the remnants of a once thriving amusement park. Faces trapped in eternal agony, faded in and out of the darkness. They were the souls lost to the park's tragedies, trapped forever in a purgatorial loop. The young girl stood among them, her once radiant smile now twisted in torment. "You wanted the truth," she whispered, her voice echoing with the pain of countless souls. "Now you're part of it." The world spun, and I felt a rush of air as I plummeted down the roller coaster's tracks. The ground rushed towards me, but just as it seemed all hope was lost, everything went black. I awoke with a start, gasping for air. The evening breeze rustled against my jacket, and my camera sat on its tripod. The red recording light still blinking. It was as if nothing had happened. But as I looked around, Whispering Pines seemed different, more alive. A soft laughter echoed in the distance, and as I turned, I saw her, the young girl, her smile once again full of joy. "Thank you," she whispered before fading away. Confused, I looked down and saw the locket still clutched in my hand. The weight of the truth pressed heavily on me. My instincts screamed for me to leave, to escape this haunting place. Hastily, I packed up my camera and began a hurried trek towards the entrance. As the park's gates loomed in the distance, a fog began to roll in, dampening the ground and obscuring my vision. My footsteps felt increasingly heavy, like wading through a thick swamp. The laughter of the young girl echoed once again, now accompanied by the murmurs of countless others. It was as though the very souls of the park were closing in on me. Reaching the entrance, I found the gate shut tight. The wrought iron was entwined with fresh ivy, its tendrils pulsating as if alive. I tugged and pulled with all my might, but the gates wouldn't yield. Panic set in. The fog thickened, swallowing the park and reducing my world to the space directly in front of me. Turning back to the park, a soft glow illuminated the pathway, revealing a procession of ethereal figures. Among them was the young girl, her luminous form holding out the locket. The others, faces I recognized from the roller coaster's peak, beckoned me with sorrowful eyes. I approached the girl, a magnetic pull drawing me closer. "Why?" I whispered. "You sought the truth," she responded, her voice echoing like a distant melody. "And in doing so, you became a part of it." The realization hit me like a tidal wave. In my quest for answers, I had ignored the warnings, and now I was bound to this place. Another chapter in its tragic tale. The fog began to recede, and the park returned to its state of decay. But as I gazed around, it was no longer with the eyes of a visitor. Whispering Pines, with all its sorrow and mystery, was now my eternal